So it's a little past 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to try to get out of here. My issue though is the winds have not died down at all. In fact, they've gotten worse. Got wind speeds 30 to 40 miles an hour. So it's going to be an interesting ride today. Yeah, there must be something going on. Some big storm must be coming in, because that's the only reason I can explain, winds like this. So because of the wind gusts, I don't think I'm going to do much, if any, recording today. At least not while I'm riding. I'll hopefully get to the sand dune and get some pictures. But other than that, I don't know. You just gotta play it by ear. My first stop this morning will have to be for gas. Okay, breakfast is done. The sun is coming up, as you can see by the silos behind me. They're getting pretty bright now. So, time to get some miles in. Wish me luck. This is going to be hard work today. Well, I was actually doing really good this morning. I wasn't having many problems with the wind. But seriously, like 10 miles down the road, I topped off a hill and I just got slammed. I had a semi in front of me. He actually pulled off to the side of the road. So yeah, it got windy real hard, real quick. I thought this was going to end up being a breeze of the day. I was actually like, man, this isn't bad at all for what they were forecasting. Then all of a sudden I got hit. I don't know what happened. I don't know if just the air temperature started getting hotter. It was probably about 10 after 8 when I got hit with the wind. And yeah, now it's just nasty. I'm going to sit here, try to finish off my coffee best I can, and get back on the road. Just a quick little gas and go here in Lamar, Colorado, and yeah, time to get back on the road and make some miles. Still pretty windy. Kind of calmed down a little bit as I got into town here. I have to stop to record this because I was just about ready to leave Lamar, and all of a sudden I saw one of those tornado tracking trucks. That's all armor plated and everything like that, stuff that they drive right into the storm. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Couldn't get a picture of it though. I couldn't get my camera out fast enough. I was kind of hoping that he'd come this way, but I don't think he is. I think he went back the other way. Damn it, I wanted to get a picture of it. But yeah, I just saw a tornado armor truck. That's awesome. The winds have really died down, so I put my GoPro back on. Maybe I can start getting some driving shots now. came over a rise and went across this flat area behind me. But then I looked off onto the horizon, and I'll show you what I saw. Way back there are mountains. Alright, I'm kind of zoomed in, so my first glimpse of mountains. Yippee! Okay, so I had a good lunch right here. Orfano, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Open-faced chili cheeseburger. That was pretty good. Hi, Poochie. I'm gonna head over towards the Great Sands, the Great Sand Dunes, but I'm gonna stop off at a state park real quick. Okay, it's been about only about 40 minutes, I think, since I left Waldenburg, and it's been an interesting ride. Beautiful mountain views, as you can tell by all the pictures. But it's also one of those things. It's hard for me to take pictures because the wind is so strong. I do it when I feel I can, but that's about it. I have not had my GoPro on. But I put it back on my helmet now, and I'm going to start using it. We'll see what happens. But I'm only about 35 minutes from the Great Sand Dunes, so I'm almost there. All right, I want to get going. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me over the wind noise, but I'm on the entrance road to the Great Sand Dunes National Park. It's about 16 miles down the road, but this is the view on it. I know this is a 4K camera, but I don't know if it can pick up all the dust that's blowing in the air. Okay, as you can see by the sign behind me, I've reached the Great Sand Dunes, and all that over there, that's all the sand dunes over there. That's kind of cool. Let's drive up to it. Okay, so here's the great sand dune right there. It's kind of amazing. I mean, it's just sand. That's all it is. It's just sand. I could have gone down. There's a little road just over here. I could have gone down closer, but there's so many vehicles down there. It's like I'm not going to sit there and try to worry about parking and stuff like that. Not to mention, once you get so close to it, it's just going to look like a big mound. I like the view from back here better. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me. Lots of wind still. I decided, as I was up there taking a picture of the sand dunes, I decided I wanted to come down here and actually walk on the sand. See, the sand is constantly shifting. It's constantly blowing and moving. But I'm here. I'm at the sand dune. I'm walking on the sand. They've even got people climbing all the way up the side of it. Here, let me show you. So, what happened today? Let's see, we had wind, we had more wind. After lunch we had wind. I got hit with wind just before we got to the Great Sand Dunes. I had wind at the Great Sand Dunes. And then it took an hour for me to get to my hotel room from the sand dune, and we had wind that whole time as well. That pretty much summed it up. No, but seriously, I left Dodge City, and I figured, if I get out early, that's when the winds are going to be at their lowest. And I was right. I left, it was probably maybe 15 mile an hour winds. And I basically just went to the next town and I was like, oh crap, I never had breakfast. So I pulled into a restaurant, ate real quick, got back on the bike and took off. I left Dodge City at 7 a.m. About 10 after 8. I mean, I can actually I actually looked at my phone, you know, because I use it as GPS and everything, to see what time it was, because I rounded off the top of a hill, dropped down, and bam! The wind was right there. I mean, it was and I actually had a semi out in front of me, and the wind hit him so hard, he actually hit his brakes and pulled over to the side. You know, that's how hard the wind went. You know, I think he was afraid that he might get blown over, and so he went off to the side. I think he was just going slowly down the side. I don't think he actually came to a full stop, but that was just ridiculous. Well, I went into the very next town, which was just a few more miles down the road, and pulled into a gas station, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, I don't want to do a full day of this all over again. So I just sat there and I drank a cup of coffee, and I talked with the girls working the store. And after a while, I was like, all right, I'm going to get back on the bike and keep going. Well, you know, I went, and the winds were still there. I was still fighting them and stuff. But maybe over the course of another hour or so, they kind of let up. You know, they were still there. It was still probably a good 15, 20 mile an hour winds, maybe even a little bit stronger. But I mean, it wasn't like I was, you know, leaning the bike trying to fight the wind the whole time. And I was actually doing really well. And I would say I was probably 30 minutes from the town where I was going to have lunch, and I was going to need a gas stop and stuff. I mean, I'm coming up on the mountains. I mean, and that's exactly what it was too. Is that, you know, I'm in the plains, you know, the driftless area, and I could see the mountains coming. You know, I got great pictures of them. I love the mountains. And the closer and closer I got to those mountains, the more and more the wind kept picking up, stronger, stronger, stronger. Well, basically, the town I was going for, it's I think it's Waldenburg or Wallaceburg or something like that. But it's right at the base of the mountains. I mean, it's right there. And so, yeah, I was fighting the wind, because all of that wind is now being channeled by the mountains and getting focused down in the one area. So I finally made it in there. And I tell you, if you travel from what was the name of the town? La Junta, and take County Highway 10 to Waldenburg, you better damn well have a full tank of gas, because there is nothing between the two. And I think it was, gosh, I'll have to look it up. I'll put it on the screen. I don't know how far that distance is, but I went in with 3/4 of a tank, not realizing how far I had to go before my next gas stop. And I was almost sucking fumes. I mean, I was probably down to my last gallon. So to me, that's cutting it close. Once I get into that range, you know, I'm getting nervous. Once I get down, my fuel gauge, it's only like 5 little bars. It's not an actual gauge, you know, with a needle that moves. So basically, each bar represents a gallon. And once I get down to 2 bars, I start looking for gas stations. And I was out in the middle of nowhere when I hit that 2-bar spot. So I was praying and hoping I was going to make it. And luckily I did. Went and found a nice place for lunch in Waldenburg. That was really nice. I ordered an open-faced chili cheeseburger. I had a bunch of people comment on my picture that I posted up on Facebook. But you know, we'll pray for you. You know, how you know, why would you order something like that? You're going to pay for it later. The chili wasn't that bad. I don't know what they were thinking was going to be wrong with the chili that, make me get the shits or something like that. But it was good chili. It was really good. It was homemade, and the only thing I was disappointed on was that they put it on the chili cheeseburger, the actual hamburger that they used. It was a prefabbed, pre-made burger. I kind of wish that was a homemade, squash the patty, put it on the griddle, homemade burger, but it wasn't. And after that, I decided I wasn't going to put the GoPro on my helmet. The winds that I had to face coming into the town, I just couldn't do that again. So I left the GoPro off my helmet and kept on going down towards the Great Sand Dunes. And it only ended up being like an hour outside of Waldenburg, but with that wind, it just beats you. I still tried to get a few pictures here and there, but once I got to the sand dunes, I tried to put my GoPro back on, put a fresh battery in it, and I think something's wrong because I actually bought extra batteries for my GoPro, and I think something's wrong with one of them because I put it in, I went to go start it up, and it died right away. So something's going on to where it's not charging and holding that charge. But I got 2 others, so that's fine. Got to the sand dunes and got to the visitor center. Got the second stamp in my book. I'm happy about that. Then I went down the parkway, the road that goes into the park. That keeps going past the visitor center, and you can actually go down towards the sand dune itself. Well, there was actually a lot of people there, and so I was like, I don't know if I want to go down. I was getting great views of the dunes, and I didn't really see a reason that I had to get any closer, because to me, if you get closer to it, it kind of takes away because you're not seeing the whole picture. You're just going to see a smaller section of it. And so I went there and I took a couple of pictures, far away from the dunes and stuff like that. Then I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go down to the dunes. And the reason I'm going down there is because I actually saw people walking out of the dunes. I didn't think you could do that. But you can. You can actually go out and walk on the dunes, so I did. And with the wind blowing and everything like that, I tried to get video of it. I'm hoping it turns out, because with the sun and everything, I can't always see what's going on in the view window, the little view screen of the camera. So I'm hoping that picks up how the sand is getting blown across. So those dunes are actually shifting and moving and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I saw a couple of deer. I think they were black-tailed deer. Saw a few of those. A couple of them I saw as I was leaving the dune. I jumped on the bike and I was driving around, and I saw 2 of them right out by the road. So I grabbed my camera and shot video of them, and one of them just looked right at me, like, what the hell are you doing? I stopped off at a little town, and they had a gas station filled up for the last time for the day, and it was only going to take me like a little over an hour, like an hour and 15 minutes to get to my hotel here. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to kind of relax a little bit at the station, and I went out and got myself an ice cream bar and ate that. That was really good. A couple of locals came in, they're little Mexican guys, and they came in and they were kind of doing the same thing. They grabbed a couple of ice cream bars, and they knew a guy that was also in the store, and they were talking. In fact, the guy they met in there actually bought their ice cream for them. but he said something about how he had to go out and get ready to plant potatoes, and he left out the side door, and then the two Mexican guys, they left out the door that was right next to me, and they actually just went outside and sat down at a table to eat their ice cream. Well, I finished mine, and I walk out to the bike, and one of the guys is like, "Hey, that's a nice bike. Thanks a lot." You know, I told him about the bike, and he's like, "Well, where are you going?" So, of course, that starts the whole conversation on, you know, what I'm doing and where I'm going and where I'm from and stuff like that. And every time I tell him what I was doing, he's like, "Oh, really? Oh, really?" You know, tell him I was coming here to South Fork. "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah, I'm going to make my way around Utah and see a bunch of the national parks." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, I'll end up down in Mesquite, Nevada." "Oh, really? Mesquite, Nevada? Okay." So that was basically the whole conversation. Is I kept on telling him, you know, where I was going and what I was doing. "Oh, okay," you know. So I took a picture of them. That was the two guys that were sitting there eating ice cream. Yeah, that was that picture. So, but yeah, it was a good day. I mean, the wind was a little bit of a bummer, but you know, once I got into the mountains, I was so excited just to be driving in the mountains again that, you know, the wind just didn't matter anymore to me. The other thing is that, you know, on my Oregon trip, I went over the mountains. I was up on the tops of them. I was driving around in the snow caps. And this trip, I don't think I'm doing that at all. I don't know if I'm going to be actually up in the mountains. I think I'm going to stay more in the valleys and stuff like that. However, tomorrow might be a completely different story. I'm going through the Rio Grande National Forest tomorrow. Once I get through there, I'll be getting into Mesquite Verde, and that's the I guess they call it the cliffside castle. Native Americans built it, you know, centuries ago, and now it's a national park, and then from there it's the Four Corners Monument, and then from there it's Hovenweep, which is just kind of like the same stuff as Mesquite Verde. Then from there it's on to Monticello and the end of my day. My mileage. I am up to, I gotta look it back up again here. I'm up to 1,412.7 miles. So minus the 969 from my total yesterday gave me 443.7 miles today. Okay, so now I think I'm done. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to tell you. And I'll see you tomorrow.